Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
Everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay and choo-choo.
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. The train is pulling away, all aboard the murder train, pulling away from the station. Choo-choo indeed. Let's do this. Yeah. We have a wild episode for you. As always, we're going to the mountains here. Well, not even really the mountains, but we're going to Colorado.
Right.
It's a place Jimmy's familiar with, so he can tell us how terrible it is. It'll be a lot of fun.
The Rockies.
Oh, yeah. Quickly, before we get to that, just want to say you definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com, where you get tickets for the live shows 2023. The first few are on sale right now through May, and then the rest will go on sale in a couple of weeks. And we have definitely Cleveland, February 10th, St. Louis, February 11th. Get your tickets. Those are selling very, very fast, so you definitely want to get in there. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all your bonus stuff, and you get a ton. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get the whole back catalog of bonus stuff. There's a ton of it, and you get two. It's deep. It's a deep bench. And you get 2 new episodes every single other week. And you're going to get one crime in sports. I like how I did the single other week. Every other week, every single time. You're going to get 2 new episodes, one crime in sports, one small town murder. This week we're only going to do one because it's Christmas. That's why we did that. It's the one time a year where we take it a little light. But it's a great one, though. We're going to talk about our worst comedy gigs of all time that we've ever participated in. And it's Quite the tale, let me tell you something.
There's a lot.
And we're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite Christmas songs as well.
Hey.
Throw that in there. And for crime and sports, it'll be a little surprise something, little stocking stuffer. But never mind all that. We don't need any of that. We got to get right to the story because there's a lot of story here. Let's get into this, I think, and let's sit back. Let's clear the lungs. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're at home in the middle of a family party. Get right in Grandma's face, lean right down and scream, "Shut up and give me murder!" Grandma, let's do it. When she recovers from her heart attack, you can say, "You know what we're doing, Grandma? We're going on a trip.
Let's go.
Let's do it. We're going all the way to Cortez, Colorado."
Oh, Cortez is nice.
You like Cortez? Okay.
I think.
I don't know. It's in southwestern Colorado near Four Corners.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of the same place, or are you thinking of like a nice mountain town?
It's mountainy as shit there.
Okay.
Still.
All right. Yeah, it's near Four Corners. And if you don't know, you think of Colorado, everybody just thinks it's like just Denver. This is 7 hours from Denver. This is nowhere near there.
Yeah.
This is nowhere near any city. This is like, what? It's got to be 6 hours to Phoenix. It's got to be about the same to Albuquerque. It's in the middle of nowhere, literal nowhere.
Near the Wolf Creek Pass. Yeah.
There you go. Nowhere. Everybody familiar with Wolf Creek Pass? No, exactly, because it's the middle of goddamn nowhere. Population here, 8,734 somehow. No,
is that right?
Yeah, there's a few people there. Median household income here is about $39,141 a year, which is lower than the national average. Median home price, $227,500, also lower than the national average. So a little bit cheaper to live here. Quick little history of the town here. In 1866, it was built to provide housing for men working on the tunnels and irrigation ditches required to divert water out of the Dolores River and into the Montezuma Valley.
I don't even know where either of those are.
So there you go. This is a town that was built just to house workers who did insanely dangerous jobs. Imagine digging tunnels in 1886 and how dangerous that was. I can't even imagine what that was like.
To divert water, so it's like it's aqueduct infrastructure.
It's irrigation. Yeah.
So dangerous.
It's very dangerous. All of this is dangerous. You could be taken away in the water. You could be, all the dirt could collapse on you. There's so many ways to die here. And this town was made for these damned souls. So a lot of people actually stop here tourist-wise because there's a lot of stuff around here. The Mesa Verde National Park, Monument Valley, Four Corners. Yep. This is kind of in the middle of it all. And a lot of people will take this route to get through Colorado instead of taking that 40 and 19 or 29. I don't remember. Whatever, 25. Yeah.
South to the 40. You go at a diagonal rather than that L shape.
Yeah, yeah.
It's longer.
Yeah.
Somehow it's longer because you're going so slow.
You're going slower. I think it's windier, too, with that. So it's not just a straight shot here. A lot of prehistoric sites also there. A lot of different places. You could name a ton of them, but they're there. Trust me. In 1959, a U-2 made an emergency landing here.
A bomber.
Yeah, well, I think those reconnaissance. Those were the reconnaissance aircraft.
U-2 planes?
The U-2 planes flew like 70,000 feet in the air to take.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they were reconnaissance planes they would fly above radar. They made an emergency landing, which was forced in the nighttime, August 3rd, 1959, at the Cortez Municipal Airport. Which is
little airport,
which is amazing. Yeah, there was the flight originated from Laughlin Air Force Base in Texas, and the engine flamed out at 70,000 feet.
Oh my God!
You don't want that to happen. So they glided through all this stuff, and they found the airport. It wasn't on the map even. The pilot didn't even know it was there. They just found a lighted runway from the sky, and we're like, we're fucking aiming for that. That looks good. It's lit, so it's probably good. So they just landed there. Which is pretty wild, I must say.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What if it was like a fucking FBI? You know what I mean? Like something that's a place you're not supposed to see. And this plane just
well, it was a military plane, so I mean that would help. But still, it could have been like an Area 51 type of thing, and they could have shot it down with them. I think at that point it didn't matter. You're going to crash. You're coming from 70,000 feet. We're going down there. We're going, either that or into the side of a mountain. Those are our options. So
surprisingly, they had clearance.
Really, reviews of this town Here we go. 5 stars. Growing up in Cortez, Colorado has been a great experience, resulting in my permanent residency. My long-term goals of higher education, obtaining a fruitful career, supporting my family in a safe town with great opportunities, schools, rich culture, and clean environment are of great importance to me. I feel Cortez encompasses all of the qualities I am looking for. This sounds
I wish they said that they wanted all of that, but all of those dreams have evaporated, so we're going to stay here.
Yeah, that would. Well, then the end of it, though, the only area I see improvement. I see need for improvement is job opportunities, maintaining business growth, and the lack of public housing. So it's the best place on earth, except for there's no jobs or places to live. Yeah, that sounds great. Otherwise it sounded like
8,000 people.
Yeah. Otherwise it sounded like a report to the mayor of like, tell us why you love your small town and we'll publish it in the newspaper. That's what it sounded like. 4 stars. I've lived here for 16 years. It's in a beautiful place. You can drive in one direction for half an hour and be in the desert, drive in another direction and be in the mountains. The town is small but has everything you would need day to day. Durango is 35 miles away, and some people commute. Oh, Durango. Yeah, the thriving metropolis that is. There isn't much well-paid employment in this area. So here we go. There are many retirees here living out their John Denver dreams.
Okay.
All right. Jesus, 3 stars, and it's a long one. Wow. Here we go. 3 stars. I live here but plan to move soon. Okay, these are the people I want to hear from. What has driven you away? Extremely safe area. People are very nice and welcoming. Weather is okay. Biggest drawback is lack of things to do. Few doctors and even fewer good docs. Horribly dirty hospital. Jesus, that doesn't sound good. Dirty hospital?
Horribly?
Have we ever heard a review of a dirty hospital? You can't. How is a dirty hospital open? Close it. What do we do?
Horrible.
Horribly
Not just dirty, but it's horribly
just
dirty.
Filthy. Just disgusting. Food chunks
Vomit
on the floor.
On the wall.
On the walls. Shit smeared. Things written in feces. You know. Oh, my God. So unprofessional police department and tourists. There are lots of hiking, biking, and camping areas, but not much else as far as entertainment. Colorado is an expensive state. It's expansive and expensive to live. The people are ego crazy jerks. Okay. Huh? I've been harassed twice in the last 2 weeks. If you are in a Cortez park and tie your dog's leash to your foot or a tree while you eat lunch, the cops here will threaten to arrest you. Apparently, the law says the leash must be in your hand at all times. This is very personal. I'm moving here because that cop was a dick about the leash. That's what he's saying. I'm moving away.
I need my dog. I need freedom to hold my dog how I want.
If you ask to read the law, that will get you threatened with arrest for being rude. Guess rude is against the law here, too. It happened to me twice while at Denny Park in Cortez. If you are good at entertaining yourself and can live with poor health care, it's okay, but otherwise, don't move here. Jesus Christ. My goodness. Okay, one more. 1 star. I was transferred here and cannot wait to leave. It is the worst place I have ever lived, and I've lived in 18 U.S. states. Absolutely nothing of value here. Poor school, undereducated people drinking beer is the main activity. No good restaurants, no culture, no shopping, nothing to do. Expensive groceries and gas, unreliable auto and home repairs. Medical care is a joke. Most people here think drinking beer and riding ATVs are the best way to spend their time. I mean, it's not a bad way to spend your time.
It's a pretty good day.
There has to be something else. I get what they're saying.
It's a solid day.
It is a solid day, though. It's a good Saturday. Just a horrible place, very behind the times. So
18 different states that person's
18.
lived?
Yeah.
Why are you on the run?
I think they transfer. They're probably one of these companies. They probably get open offices or some shit. Who knows?
Like every 3 months
or they're on the run from witness relocation. We don't know. Things to do here. We'll just do this very quick here. Is the Cortez Hot Air Balloon Rally.
Oh, my God.
Guess what they do?
Race hot air balloons?
Holy shit, you got it. All right, moving on. So there's really nothing else going on there.
Yeah, what do you do with a hot air balloon? It goes up.
Yep.
That's the end of it.
They say that you can, at night, you can see the balloon flames glow. You may even be able to interact with the pilots and get up close with a hot air balloon. Oh, I can talk to a hot air balloon pilot? Oh, but still my fucking beating heart. Let me remember to bring my autograph book because I'm going to need that. If I don't get his autograph, Jimmy, I'm not going to be, I'll have a poster on my wall with no autograph.
How do you know if he's the pilot?
I hope
so many people know.
I hope he wears a full astronaut uniform with the big helmet and everything, because this is ridiculous. Yeah. Never mind. Okay, so that's what's going on there. That said, let's talk about a murder. What do you say, Jimmy?
Let's do that.
Let's talk about it's actually more than one murder, and it is just a wild day. Let's just say that here. I love how some of our stories are, we try to go and tell varieties of stories. Sometimes it's, young people killing each other. Sometimes it's like a husband and wife. Sometimes it's we try to really mix it up. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing about murder. It touches everybody.
It's what I mean. So you can really mix up the stories. This is just some panhandle, some crazy shit went down in a trailer one night story. So let's get right into this and talk about some people. First of all, let's talk about 36-year-old. We're going to go back to 1982, number one here. 1982, January of 82. Oh, yeah. Grow out your mustache, put on your Jordache, and let's get the fuck out there, baby.
January, starting over in 82.
Starting over, refreshing. Let's talk about a guy who's 36 years old. His name is Lawrence Rignall. That's his middle name, Rignall. Rignal, Rignall.
Maybe it's Renal, G silent.
Come on, Jimmy. When you hear who these people are, there's no silent shit in these people's names. They'll pronounce every syllable. Lawrence. His name's Larry. Larry doesn't have any silent letters going on here. Larry Rignall Robinson Jr., of course, as well. And he goes by Big Larry. Everyone calls him Big Larry. Big Larry over here. Lawrence Rignall Robinson Jr. He's also got a son, Lawrence Rignall Robinson III.
Of course he does.
And they call him, Jimmy?
Little Larry.
That's right. Little Larry. Because it's very creative. I can see where the reviews were coming from. The people here are very creative. That's Big Larry. He's got a boy. Well, he's Little Larry, right? Yeah, that's right. Even if his name ain't Larry, he's still Little Larry. So right away we got Big and Little Larry in the picture.
You may not believe this. You may believe it.
I think I'll believe a lot. If you're going to tell me tales of hillbilly from your background, I'll believe it.
My first stepdad's brother-in-law's name was Larry. And then he had a junior, and then they started calling him Big Larry.
Stop, wait, you just gave me a migraine. Your first stepdad's brother-in-law's what now?
Named Larry. And he had a son who named him Junior.
Junior,
and
okay.
So they called him Big Larry and Little Larry.
Oh, God.
Today, James, they're adults. The kid is an adult. They still call him Little Larry.
Think about if we were telling a story.
Yeah, I know.
And someone had a quote in it, and they said, my first stepdad's brother-in-law, you would be... Before even me, you would be like, did he just say my first stepdad's brother-in-law? These fucking people. Before anything. So I have to point that out, just to be fair. I love it so much. I
had several of them.
My first stepdad's brother-in-law's cousin's stepdad. Well, his third stepdad. My first stepdad's brother-in-law's cousin's third stepdad. His name was Larry, right? And he had a boy, and they called him Little Larry. Back to the story.
I wanted to preface it because I can't just say I knew a guy.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I knew a guy might have been okay.
That my hillbilly runs deep too.
Oh, I understand. I think we the people they know, and it's good, and I like it.
I'm a professional stepson, James.
I know. I like it. That's why when you said, I don't know if you're going to believe this, I was like, try me, Jimmy. We've been in a car for 15 hours at a time together. I know a lot. I'll believe it. I'll buy it. I'll bite. So, Big Larry's a character, let's say.
Yeah, they always are.
He's got to be a character. Big and Little Larry, there's a character going on. He got some land on a hill. High, according to the newspaper, quote, high on a hill overlooking juniper and sagebrush in a quiet rural area. Okay, outside Cortez. He
Yeah.
builds his own house there.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's not abnormal. The thing he built is abnormal, though. I've never heard of this before. He built an octagonal house.
8 sides.
He built a fucking house with 8 sides.
Big UFC fan?
Who does that?
I want to live in the octagon.
I want to live in the octagon. Yeah, it doesn't even have walls. It's just cages. It's just a cage.
Just black-coated chain link fence.
When you drive by the highway, you can see everybody inside. It's really weird. So he built an octagonal house on top of a hill for some reason.
Wow.
So everybody can see what a goddamn weirdo he is. I mean, that's fine. I like that it's different, but why is it? Why? I just want to know why is my main question.
And this is the 80s.
For what?
The UFC had nothing to do with it.
God, no. Yeah, this is... I don't understand this at all. So that's what he built. So you could tell right there he's a character. He's like, I'm building me a house. And they're like, let's get some plans. And somebody drew him something and he went, what is that, 4 sides? I don't think so, pal. Let me give you an idea I had once. I talked about this with my first stepdaddy. Now,
His brother-in-law, hell of an architect.
I bet he is. This guy said, take them 4 sides, and my house is twice as good. Double it. There you go.
With an octagonal house, how do you build rooms?
That's what I mean.
How do you set up a grid?
I don't know. That's the point. This whole thing throws my sense of geometry and I think physics we can put into it also. I don't understand anything of how this house works. As soon as I read octagonal house, I was like, we have to do this even if no one gets killed because I have to figure out what would cause an octagonal house. How does it work?
Yeah,
I thought maybe you'd know.
Ever after. I got to know more.
Yeah, even if this is a story about a young boy who Lawrence Jr. ended up going to college, working his way through it, and now he owns a chain of transmission shops. Nobody died. We're talking about it. So Larry, okay, well, around town, everybody knows Larry as there's a real nice guy, real nice feller. I mean, he's a little, eclectic. He built himself a 8-sided house, but outside of that,
interesting fella.
Larry's a good fella, right? He's a nice boy, nice guy. So he on underground though, Larry likes to dabble in some stuff. He's apparently into some drugs, into dabbling and dealing in drugs, which I don't know how else where he's getting his money from to be putting up weird architectural experiments. I don't understand that. So maybe that would make sense.
Frank Lloyd Wright out there.
Yeah, he really is. He's right out in the middle of nowhere overlooking the juniper. So the sheriff's department launched an investigation into him possibly dealing in what they said were narcotics and dangerous drugs. So they're launching a little investigation into him. His son, little Larry, he lives with them as well in the octagonal house. This is worse than a trailer story, right? Like normally we have they're in a trailer. This is an octagonal house, which is almost like a trailer of the mind. You know what I mean? You're trapped in a trailer in your mind. So little Larry lives with Big Larry, of course. Big Larry and Big Mama got divorced several years ago.
Oh, no.
And little Larry's been living with Big Larry. So
it's just the two of them.
It's just the two of them. It's like a sitcom over here. It's like an 80s sitcom. They're burning mac and cheese. They don't know how to do anything right.
Yeah.
Piles of laundry everywhere. So they have another guy who stays with them as well and has been there for about a year, who's kind of living in the house. His name is Paul Stephen Fish, regular like a fish. He's 19 years old. He's a local Cortez guy as well. He is actually, this is the odd thing, he's actually from a very well-to-do family in Cortez. Yeah, he's from one of the movers and shakers around there. His father, Byron, owns a construction company in Cortez, and they do even a lot of municipal construction. They built the addition on the Montezuma County Justice Building complex and shit like that. So they're one of the main big shot contractors.
Contractor, yeah.
They have a lot of money, essentially, here. Now, Paul, I don't know why, but Paul's been living with the Larrys for about a year, since early 1981. So since he was 18, I don't understand if he doesn't get along with Dad or what, but something's going on.
Little Larry's friend?
I don't know if he's Little Larry's friend or he knows Big Larry. It's hard to tell what's going on around here. I feel like age, in a lot of our stories, age has nothing to do with it. 38-year-old people meet 18-year-olds and then they're best friends, and we're like, what happened? Why are you together?
But Big Larry's 36?
Big Larry's 36, Little Larry's 17, and Paul hangs out there. I don't know what the connection is, but it gets more clear as it goes because I think the connection could possibly be drug-related is what it is. I think they like to do drugs, everybody in this house. I don't know about Little Larry, but at least Big Larry and possibly Paul here. So Paul Fish also was arrested in early 1981. That might be why he's here also. His dad might have kicked him out or something like that.
Could see it.
He was arrested on a forgery charge.
Oh.
So
maybe he's stealing Dad's checks? Who knows?
We don't know what he's been doing, but he was got a personal recognizance bond after he agreed. They let him out, okay? He's charged with forgery, can't afford bail. They let him out, but only after he agrees to be an informant for a Sergeant Chafin. This is not a real this isn't like a wire situation where there's like units and stuff. They pick a kid up for forgery and they're like, what do you know about drugs? They're just looking for crime to happen. So
you're 19, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Well, it ends up that Paul offers to help the sheriff take down Big Larry.
Oh.
Yeah, let's take down Big Larry because I know a guy who's got a lot of drugs and sells drugs. So Paul got busted for forgery and immediately was like, hey, there's a guy who's let me live in his house, for his weird fucking strange shaped house for like a year.
Yeah.
I'll give him up just to get out from under this. Even though it's a forgery charge, it's my first offense. I'll probably get probation, but rather than do any of that, I'm just going to tell on my friend who's been letting me live there for a year. Nice guy. Yeah. Nice guy, Paul.
Last name Fish, not the big one. I'll get you the big one.
I'll get
He's
you
big
the
Larry.
big. I'm a little fish. That's the thing. See, there's Little Larry. I'm Little Fish. That's what they call me. My friends, everybody calls me Little Fish.
Yeah.
I'll get you the big fish. So he ends up. The deal is he's going to help the sheriff get Big Larry in return for forgery charges being dropped, plus what it's called, quote, getaway money. So he can flee the area so Big Larry's friends won't, draw and quarter him, apparently.
Is that how bad Big Larry is?
I don't know if that's how. Well, later on, I feel like Big Larry has some clout. I feel like Big Larry has a little more clout than anybody thought, really, in town. So that's the deal, though. He's going to get away. I guess in a small town, you don't want to be the, open rat, because the way it happens, there's no way for him to deny that he set him up, at all, the way he's going to set him up. So I feel like you can't then walk around a small town and be with your head held up high. You're going to get beat up at the bar for doing shit like that.
What's getaway money for a Cortez low-end fucking crook?
$280.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, that'll get you to the Mexican border, then you're on your own. I feel like that's what they said.
They gave Donnie Brasco $500, and he was involved with the fucking mob.
Yeah, this is way worse.
They can't be giving him $500.
$280. I feel like that'll get you a night in a hotel, a couple meals, bus fare.
We'll give you a gift card to the Flying J.
That's it. This is enough to get you to Nogales. Have a good one.
That's enough gas.
That's it. Bye. Enjoy. So the plan is he's supposed to set Big Larry up. This is not done in a professional way at all, by the way. The way this is like a small town police force, small county police force, doing just a kind of shooting from the hip kind of a drug sting, rather than how they do it in a bigger police force. They have procedures of how they do this sort of thing and rules. This is just real willy-nilly. The plan is to have the sergeant. The sergeant's going to have Paul Fish introduce an undercover officer to Big Larry so that undercover officer can purchase a bunch of drugs, increasingly higher denominations of money, and then, get this guy in a whole thing. That's the sting operation. Paul's going to be the Trojan horse that brings him into the house.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, it's an easy plan. If the guy,
if
the guy who lives with you for a year comes over and like, oh, this is my friend, yeah, he needs some shit, you'd be like, all right, yeah, here you go. My roommate brought him over. He's got to be fine. You'd imagine. You're not gonna not sell him shit.
That's worrisome for anybody involved because if you're not giving any sort of firewall in between him figuring it out. It's obvious,
and that's what I mean. If there's no. Normally, there's some sort of obfuscation, whereas even when the bust comes, they'd cuff Paul, too, and haul everybody away and pretend. This is just like, oh, he's going to want to kill you. You're going to need getaway money. This is why you need getaway money when you're doing it like this. This is a smash and grab, essentially. This is terrible.
Regular unleaded getaway money, though.
Yeah,
so
it's not super. Not super. This is leaded getaway money. So he's going to purchase that, and that's the deal. So the undercover officer, Bill McCash is his name, the undercover officer. Mick Cash, yeah, it's like a McDonald's game. This summer, join us for Mick Cash.
Pull tabs on all cups.
Pull tabs on all cups, medium or above, and you get win either free. Win either burgers, meals, or a new Corvette. And they'll show that.
With your McCash.
With your McCash. So that's the thing. This guy, McCash, this dipshit, he tells Paul, listen, this could be dangerous now. You know that, right? Which is fair. Yeah. You got to tell the guy, hey, ahead of time, you got to know it's dangerous. But rather than saying, this is how we'll protect you, or we're gonna wear a wire so we know where you are, or anything like that, he says, listen now, shit could get dangerous, so if I go over there with you, or any other time, things might go bad, and if things go bad, there could be some shooting, so you should, quote, keep a gun handy. What?
We're not giving you one, but,
Keep a gun handy? At what point in a police sting do they tell the informant that you should probably get ready to blast some people? That's not part of it. They'll go, no. We got that. If it goes bad, we're going to bust in. We'll do the blasting. You don't kill.
Duck and cover.
You don't work here, so you can't. We're not going to authorize you to hand out lethal judgments on people. So that's not how that goes. So you should keep a gun handy. So this whole operation, you could tell, is just a shit show. So he said, okay, and Paul Fish started carrying around a .22 pistol with him. So he was like, just in case, sons of bitches. Now he thinks he's a real badass. He thinks he's Henry Hill over here now. So they're looking for me. So they're introduced there. He ends up introducing this guy to Larry, Big Larry, and I guess some purchases are made, I guess. And on January 5th, 1982, Officer Jim Kindle, one of the people involved in this parade of fucking stupidity, he tells Paul Fish that, he's really gassing him up, making him think he's part of the team. Remember on The Sopranos when Big Pussy was like, talking about fucking like FBI like terminology and acting like he was like an agent, going, well, you don't have PC for that and blah blah blah. They're like, what are you talking? Hey, calm down. Listen,
you don't work here.
You don't work here. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
That's how they're all acting, but they're telling him, Jim Kindle tells Paul at one point, quote, in a way, you're working for us.
Oh,
so he tells him, like, you're working, we're all in this together. You know, you're working for us. He's just a forging teenager. He's a moron. He also, Fish has a little brother named Joseph Albert Fish.
Stop it.
He does.
Why would they do that to him?
I don't know. That's so bad.
It's like the most famous ever. Why would you do
that's
that?
I'm like, really? I read that off.
They don't even go together.
That's the other. They call him Bert, though.
Don't do that.
Bert Fish.
Leave the middle name away.
Bert Fish over here. No, they emphasized it, and that's what they call him. They could call him Joe Fish. That's fine. Be Joey Fish. That sounds like a mob guy. That's Joey Fishes. That's Joey Fishes from the waterfront in Brooklyn. Yeah, no, he runs the whole thing there, Joey Fishes. He takes any seafood you eat on the eastern side of the Manhattan Island, it's from him. That's the way it works. He's got the whole east side.
Sometimes they call him Joey Seafood, but Joey Fish is pretty good.
They call him Joey. It's Joey Fishes over there. You know what I mean? So
Bert Fish. No, you don't lean into the Albert part at all.
They leaned in hard. How many people do you know? I know people that go by their middle names, but they're not also shortened to something else. Like he really is embracing it. He's 17 years old, Bert Fish here. So he's a little brother of Paul Fish, and he just kind of hangs around him, and he doesn't have a lot of involvement in anything, but he hangs around his brother a lot. Sure. I don't know if their house sucks or what, the Fish family home, but the Fish home. January 11th, the Anemone. January 11th, 1982 comes around. 4:30 in the morning around, we'll call it. Well, actually, it's exactly 4:11 a.m. So Paul calls the Justice Building switchboard in Cortez at 4:11 a.m. And he requests some officers and an ambulance be sent to his location because, quote, there's been some shots fired and another quote, some people killed.
There's been some shots fired.
Some shots fired, some people killed. We're going to need an ambo and some officers. He called it in like he was calling in like, hey, is Kathy working? Yeah, put her on the line. Yeah, it's me. We're out on the job right now, and there's been shots fired. Officer down, possibly, so you got to get out here.
Send rescue.
Yeah, some shots fired, some people killed. Some people.
Medics and rescue ASAP. See you soon.
When I hear some people killed, that scares me because that feels like how many people that you don't even have a number.
Right.
Some?
You've got plural.
Yeah, more than a dozen. What are we talking about? So he identifies himself to the dispatcher. Yeah, this is Paul Fish. Of course it is. Paul Stephen
Undercover
Fish.
Officer Paul Fish.
You know, Officer Paul Fish here. I think I'm a sergeant now. Sergeant Paul Fish calling in. He gives them the telephone number where he is, but he doesn't know the address, even though he fucking lives there. He's lived there for a year. He doesn't have a house number or county road designation, nothing. He's got which is bullshit. He knows where he is. So I don't understand that. The dispatcher described his state as very emotional. He said, quote, very emotionally disturbed, not to the point of being out of his mind, but a very sense of urgency in his voice, very pleading. This is his first, job-involved shooting. He hasn't been on the hasn't been out there in the street much.
First officer involved in ever.
It's tough for him. So after he calls the dispatcher, hangs up there, and tries to call his parents. Because, he is a rich kid. That's going to be his first. When there's blood still seeping from people's bodies, he's like, Dad, help. That makes sense. I need you, Daddy, please. I know he had a big fight, but he couldn't get a hold of them because it was 4:00 in the morning. So
right, because they're not answering shit at 4 a.m.
The cops are more likely to answer at 4 a.m. than your parents, I would assume. So then he called a friend of his there, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm waiting on the cops. There's some people killed, so that's an issue." This friend then he got a hold of Paul's mom and dad somehow. It's 82, but I just picture them looking on the caller ID going, "Oh, it's fucking Paul again. Dude, don't answer that." And then his friend called. They're like, "It's an unknown. You better pick it up. It might be important." You never know.
Go back to bed, Harold. It's Paul.
It's Paul. Never mind. So he then called the dispatcher again at 4:17. So this started at 4:11. He's already talked to the dispatcher, called his parents, got no answer, talked to his friend, and then called the dispatcher back in 6 minutes. So during this conversation, he describes the house in which the house where this all happened, which is amazing because you'd think you wouldn't need an address because you'd be like, we're that stupid house that's an octagon on the hill. The only house on earth shaped like that because it's ridiculous. Yeah, that one. That's where we are. So
I'm at the dumb house, and there's a lot of bodies.
There's some people are killed here. So some people. Wow. So he tells them that. Officer Brent Powell is sent to the residence. He arrives at 4:21 a.m., 4 minutes. So from first call to officer arrived, 10 minutes. I guess that's good for the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere. This officer enters the house, and his description of Paul is as follows from his report. Quote, Paul had his fists doubled up at the time and was stooping over and up. He was breathing real hard, erratic, and then he said, indicating air whooshing in and out, such as that. So he was like having kind of a panic attack, it seemed like, walking around looking at the bodies.
Fists on his knees kind of thing, and he's breathing?
Yeah, fists doubled up. I think his fists are doubled up, and he's like bending down and standing back up again and trying to get his wind. I think he's having a hard time catching his breath, and he's panicking.
First killing and such.
Yeah, some people are dead. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So he is directed. This officer says, well, where is everything? And he points to the bedroom. Paul does. He's like, down there, here. Big Larry is in the bedroom. Big Larry has been shot in the head, turns out with a .22 pistol while he was sleeping.
Oh.
Yeah, that's interesting. He's in his bed in sleeping position.
Why would you?
With a gunshot wound, and he has a very weak pulse at this point. But that's not going to last long. Big Larry's going to end up succumbing to his injuries here. So then, after that ends up happening, Paul's like, okay, let me take you to this other bedroom as well, because there's more. And the cop's like, there's fucking more? Okay, this isn't good. In this bedroom are 2 more bodies of very dead people. And the first body is little Larry.
Yeah.
Little 17-year-old Larry is dead as well. So he's been killed. And the body of 17-year-old Bert Fish is also in the room. Shot.
What the fuck?
Shot and killed. And there's some discrepancy here over what the calibers and the actual weapons that were used to kill Bert. Larry has multiple gunshot wounds. Little Larry, we're talking shotgun and .22 pistol. He's been hit with.
Riddled.
Yeah, so he's been. That's either we don't know what happened there. So that's a good for the mystery, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So the officer asked Paul, "Were you here when the shooting started?" And he said, "Yes." This is right away, and he hasn't been Mirandized, mind you, or anything like that. This is just off the cuff. Yeah. Paul says, quote, "Yes, Larry Robinson Jr. shot my brother Bert. I then shot Larry Robinson Jr. and ran into the other bedroom and shot Larry Robinson Sr."
Okay.
So he's claiming that Little shot Little on Little violence, and then he came in, settled the score, and then figured once Big Larry heard what was going on, he's going to come in, so you better cut him off at the pass. That's the story.
In an octagon-shaped house, those bullets don't carry.
They just ricochet in circles. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
Just pew, pew, pew. They never stop.
He didn't hear shit.
He didn't hear a goddamn thing. So this is obviously quite the scene. They don't know how to take it and who to believe and shit like that. He arrests, Paul, the officer does, puts handcuffs on him. You shot somebody here. You just told me you shot a guy in his sleep, so I'm going to assume I'm at least arresting you for that. So places him in handcuffs. Paul requests, can I call my parents and talk to him? I need to talk to my father. And they said, no, you can't talk to your father right now. He was told they ended up calling from the police department because he's a respected guy and they don't want to piss him off probably. Next time the municipal building needs some work, they don't want the plumbing to be fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when the officer puts the cuffs on him, out of nowhere comes another man. Comes down
in the house?
Yes, comes down from upstairs. He just walks in. He's like, what the hell's going on here? Why is there cops? What's going on, Paul? Oh, shit, all the Larrys are dead. But not all the Larrys are dead because this man's name is Lawrence Hogan. Another Larry.
How many Larrys are there?
At least 3 Larrys in this fucking story live in the same house. That's just... How do you even let that guy move in? You'd be like, no, you can't move in. Your name is Larry. It's going to be too confusing. I'm sorry. We have a big and a
Larry.
We have a big and a little Larry. That's all we're doing. I don't know what else to kind of Larry to call you.
Medium Larry.
There's no medium Larry. Regular Larry, irregular Larry. None of that. We can't have it. So...
we can't call you Tall Larry.
Yeah, what are you, Tall Larry, Skinny Larry? Nothing works here. Sorry.
They've invented you already.
Sorry, can't do it. So this is Lawrence Hogan. He's 37. He's taken into questioning. They slapped the cuffs on him too because he's in the house. They're like, well, there's 2 alive people and 3 dead people. I'm arresting all the alive people and figuring it out later. So they take Larry the Third in there. No, there was a Larry the Third. That was the kid. They take the third Larry. Jesus Christ. The third Larry they take in. Turns out he was sleeping the entire time. He came down like while the handcuffs are being put on. He's like, what's going on? Like just eyes bleary, rubbing the sleep out of his eyes.
We should all have octagon-shaped houses. It's so silent in there.
You can kill people with multiple caliber weapons and different... You can buck shotgun rounds off and 2 people can sleep through it. That's amazing.
Anything ranging from 22 to shotgun. Can't hear it.
Can't fucking hear it. Now, that's not what the cops think happened, though, what Paul says the story is. They don't think that there was a gunfight and Larry slept through it on the same floor, Big Larry, and then he got shot in the head. Their theory is that Paul went down, shot Larry in the head to take care of him because he's the biggest threat, and then went to deal with Little Larry. And that makes actually way more sense in terms of how this goes, as we'll talk about. So Elder Larry shot with a .22 pistol while he slept, like we said. There was his son, though, Little Larry, shot with a pistol and a shotgun, but they said there was a fierce struggle involved here.
Yeah.
Based on markings on Paul, on markings on Little Larry, there was obviously a struggle. So they're trying to figure out if maybe the theory is possible that maybe that Paul went down, shot Big Larry in the head. Little Larry heard what was going on, grabbed his shotgun to investigate why there was a gunshot in his house.
Yeah.
Paul wrestled him, got it away from him, shot him with the .22 and then wrestled the shotgun out of his hand and then blasted him with the shotgun too. So that's the theory. But none of that explains how Bert Fish died.
Right.
That's the big thing here. So they said...
Or is Bert in it with his brother? And
that's the other thing.
He says, I'm going to go kill Big Larry.
We're going to go rob Big Larry, me and you.
As soon as you hear the noise, hold the gun on Little Larry.
That could have happened, too. And Little Larry got it away from him, shot him, and then maybe, Paul comes in, shoots Little Larry, gets the gun. Either way, it's a Reservoir Dogs situation.
It's a mess.
This is a fucking disaster. This is a bad gangster movie where at the end everybody shoots each other. Not that Reservoir Dogs is bad, because that's a good movie, but there's also ones in bad movies.
Reservoir Dogs minus teeth.
Yeah, this is a hillbilly Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Hillbillies is what's going on here.
Mountain dogs.
So they're going to go, the cops right now go, maybe maybe Bert was an accident. Maybe somebody shot him on accident and he just died. Maybe that's what happened because we can't figure it out right now. Yeah. Doesn't matter because all three of those people are dead, though. Right. Alternate fourth Larry, he is released and goes off on his way, but they're gonna hang on to Paul. Now at 4:26 p.m., an Officer Krause arrived and transported Paul to the Montezuma County Jail. Okay. On the way to the jail, Officer Krause and Paul engaged in general conversation. During the conversation, Paul's like, listen, do me a favor, pal. Like, you need to notify Sergeant Chafin because, quote, he was working on the case with me. I'll put it all in my report. Is that good? Well, when we get to the jail, you just put me at a desk rather than a cell. I'll fill out my whole report and we can just clear this mess right up now. That's good. Call the union for me, too, because they're going to want to. Oh, my God.
Write off 3 bodies, and one of them happens to be your brother.
He was working on the case with me. So this officer described Paul as being nervous but not hysterical, kind of like the other guy described him. A little hyperventilating, but outside of that, he's fine. Yeah. Paul and Officer Krause arrived at the jail at about 4:40 a.m. Paul was placed in a holding cell that didn't have any water or bathroom facilities, just a box.
Yeah.
Placed in a box. He was denied access to water to prevent him from washing his hands until after they were tested for gunshot residue, which is standard. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Usually do that pretty quick, though. I mean, you don't make somebody sit there and not let them pee while you go find the kit. Where's that kit now? Shit, God damn it. The guy from the state brought it what was that, like 5 years ago? I don't know where the hell we put it. Jesus Christ. Never thought we'd need it.
I'm looking. I'm going to look in the other closet down the hall, too.
Maybe we'll get him one of them hamster bottles, and he can just go up and, bite on. I don't think you can wash your hands with one of them, right? No, probably not. Big ball in it.
You got to push the ball in and suck.
That's going to be hard. You need the suction part, so he can't wash his hands like that. So he's placed in there. About 5:40 a.m., Officer Ronald Barker comes to the holding cell in where Paul is, and Barker gets the swabbings from his hands and takes his clothes. So it took an hour to get the swab down there. But it is the middle of the night. Nobody was working, probably. Right. I don't know if that's, who's on duty at that point. Then the officer here takes Paul to the hospital for the purpose of obtaining a blood sample so that an alcohol and drug screen can be obtained. Okay. I guess so he can't use that as saying he was high or whatever. Since he still has not been advised of his Miranda rights, by the way, at this point. He's been cuffed, brought to jail, swabbed, and medically examined without any Miranda rights being given.
And we've established a warrant for his blood. What the fuck?
No Miranda rights. So finally, at 6:15, Officer Barker reads him his Miranda rights, which is insane. That's honestly insane that you wait that long to read him Miranda rights. Put the cuffs on him and fucking read him his Miranda rights. Yeah. As soon as you see blood, you go, anything you say, what the fuck here? This is crazy. So they said that the officer says that Paul was extremely calm and composed and was definitely not under the influence of drugs or alcohol that he could tell. He also indicated that Paul's motor movements were unimpaired, and even while he was walking on ice with his ankles and leg irons, they said he was still, had enough dexterity to pull everything off here. So at about 7:30 a.m., Sergeant Stan Chafin comes in, the guy who's working on him on the case there.
Right. His partner.
His partner. And Sheriff John Glazner, they interview Paul. And Paul's taken into a secretary's office for interrogation. Not an interrogation room, a secretary's office. Being interrogated with pictures of her kids up there. That's nice. The room was located in the basement of the Justice Building. It's a secluded little room down there. It's like a little, a shitty little office.
That's how they should do all of these. That is disarming as fuck.
I would say bring them down there. That's
little guy laying next to a soccer ball on a frame on a desk.
This is weird. Although he can grab a letter opener and stab you with it is the problem. So
that's a good point, yeah.
They also can have, there's a story from the Homicide book, the David Simon book, where he talks about where the cops don't want anything in the interrogation room at all. One time they had a phone book, this guy was talking about, a sergeant had a phone book in there because they had to look up a number that this guy was saying to check an alibi from the last guy, and somebody had left the phone book over on the side of the room. So they did their next interrogation, whatever, and then when the next interrogation, that guy's case went to court, the defense attorney claimed that they beat him with a phone book to get him to give his confession. The cops didn't hear that being said in court because they're not allowed in court because they were witnesses, so they're not allowed till after they testify. So when this guy went to testify, they said, "Can you describe what was in the room?" And he said, "Nothing, just a phone book." And the guy was to the jury like, "Phone book, look at that."
Told you.
And the cop was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Had no idea, and they acquitted the guy. So he's like, bare room, nothing. So this is not smart for a lot of different reasons. So they start talking to him before they start recording it on tape for some reason. Like sometime in it, they're like, "We should record this probably." Shit. All right. They used both a primary and a backup machine to record the interview, just in case. So they did that right. Now, there's a conflict in the evidence about the contents of the pre-recording conversation between him and the interrogating officers. Paul says that while being advised of his Miranda rights, he asked them if he needed an attorney, and one or both of the officers said, "No, you don't need an attorney." Now, they're not supposed to say that. They're supposed to go, "I mean, that's up to you. I don't know. I can't tell you what you need. That's your right to an attorney if you want one." But you don't say, no. We'll sweep this right under the rug. We're just going to take 10 minutes.
We just got to account for the bodies and send you on your way.
Yeah, both cops denied that ever happened. But either way, during the interview, at some point, both officers told him that, quote, "We need to know everything, and we've got to have the truth for your protection." For your protection. They tried to act like you're on our team. So, hey, we got to be able to protect you, you have to tell us the truth type of thing. Yeah. So they said,
know what we're covering up.
Totally. We got to know. Yeah. Thin blue line, guys. You're on this side of it. Remember? That's how it works now. Yeah. Now you're over here. So we're going to cover this up. And that's what Paul is thinking. He's like, "Oh, this is great. I'm on the team, and it's just as corrupt as I thought it was. Great." He's thrilled about it. Fuck yeah.
Training day shit.
I'm above the law. I'm King Kong, bitch. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's definitely having a training day moment here. But instead, they're just reeling him in to get him to, like a fish, to get him to just say all the shooting he did, and then that's it. He's not on the team.
No.
So the interrogation does not contain all of the conversation between the defendants and the officers. That's what the court ends up finding later on. The backup tape contains more recorded dialogue than the primary recording. So at certain points, they would stop the tape, but the backup tape would still be going.
Shit.
So I think they would probably stop the tape to act like they were talking to him like off the record. "Hey, listen, now we got blah, blah, blah." And then they'd put it back on again because Paul doesn't know there's a backup tape.
Okay.
So I think that's what they were doing, which, again, you can't really do that. That's not really...
Seems a little crooked.
That's a little crooked. So Paul claims that he agreed to talk to the officers because he thought that he was working undercover for them. That's why he did this, he says. And he said that he was, quote, he thought that he was not suspected of anything except for self-defense. This is an officer-involved shooting, defending himself against two wild drug dealers. I don't understand what the problem is here. That's what he said. So he made tons of incriminating statements because he thought he was on the team. He said that he entered the home. As soon as he walked in, he saw his younger brother, Bert, being attacked with a gun.
Son of a bitch.
And he just shot both. So they were shooting him, so he shot both of them. That's how it worked.
Indiscriminately just firing.
Just firing. So he dispatched of the threat, being Larry Jr., and then said, "I guess I'll go kill Larry Sr. too, even though he's sleeping." So
he's going to be pissed when he wakes up.
Yeah, he's going to be real mad when he walks out there and sees that. So he was not permitted to speak to his parents until after the interrogation was concluded, which he's 19. They don't have to let him speak. He's not a child. If he was 16, it'd be different, but he's 19. Sure. And his parents had arrived at the jail shortly after he was placed in the holding cell. They were told by the jail that they had to wait. So after the interrogation was completed, he was talked to by his mother on the phone. He talked to his mom on the phone. He again asked the sheriff and the sergeant whether he needed a lawyer, and they said, "Yes, you do." Mm-hmm. "Yeah, you're under arrest for murder, Chief. You're going to need more than one probably." So his parents retained counsel for him. Police also requested, well, if what you're saying is true, you walked in there attacking your brother with a gun, then yeah, you're good to go. Why don't you take a lie detector test and we'll make sure? And obviously this guy's Paul's attorney was like, you're not taking a lie detector test, stupid.
That's crazy.
So the next day, he was being held for questioning still not charged yet. No charges had been filed. They said that they were awaiting the outcome of the autopsy before they decided on any charges. Okay. So they said this is the first multiple murders in recent memory in Cortez. So it's shocking, they said. Now, there's been tons of murders I have a list of them. But he said, here's a guy named Bob Gilpin, who is a neighbor of Big Larry. He said, it's a sad, sad thing. I've known Larry for 6 years. I never dreamed anything like this would happen. And they asked about drugs, and he said, I didn't know anything about drugs. Larry never said anything or did anything that would make me believe he used them. They said, what about his son? He said, oh, little Larry's a, quote, a hell of a good boy. I really liked him. He said little Larry often rode into Cortez with this guy to go to school and always showed no sign of problems. Good kid. A waitress in a Cortez restaurant named Marilyn Nelson, she said that Paul, the previous Friday, had applied for a dishwashing job at her restaurant. And she said she couldn't believe that this could happen in such a small, quiet town. My God. Meanwhile, in 1981, Cindy Bayette was shot and killed by her husband, Joseph. He'd been drinking heavily and was arguing with a friend, shot at the friend, but the bullet went through his arm and struck her in the throat.
Oh, my God.
That was 1981. He was charged with second-degree murder. Johnny Collins' house killed Alfred Lang, a fellow Ute Mountain Indian, by stabbing him with a knife in June 1981 in a bar fight. Dale Smith shot and killed his ex-wife, Judy Labrandy, in a dispute over property in 1981. Colleen Barrett and Tony Sapansky were shot to death in their rented house. Sapansky was known to authorities as a drug dealer who'd made a series of deals with a motorcycle group in Farmington.
Jeez.
That's wonderful. 10 days earlier, the two had assaulted a man and stolen his truck at a bar. So, and also Richard Fisher, in a fit of anger over his crying newborn son, picked the infant up and threw him against a wall in January. At the same time this was going on.
Oh, my God.
This is less shocking than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Our case is less shocking than somebody spiking their infant against the wall here.
Into the wall.
So that's what's happened in just the last year in this town. So it's not shocking. This town is a mess. So what will the charges be? That's the thing. What exactly are they going to be? He's going to be charged with murder, as we find out.
Yeah.
He's going to plead not guilty to the charges. He enters not guilty pleas on 2 counts of first-degree murder. First degree. The crazy part is he's charged with those things. He pleads not guilty. 2 hours later, the Judge Willard Rusk, calls everybody back into the courtroom. I've never heard of this before. And said he decided to reduce it. He felt bad. He thought about it. I got up. I was kind of grumpy, but I had a pastrami sandwich at lunch that gave me a better perspective on the world. I'm going to lower.
The paralegal brought me a Snickers.
I got to say.
I feel so good.
I felt like I was real before, but now I'm just happy. It's like the commercial. That goddamn thing's work. I'll tell you what. Anyway, I'm going to lower it to second-degree murder because I felt bad. 2 hours later.
Yeah.
So they asked the district attorney about it, and he said the judge just changed his mind. His reasons were that he did not think there was probable cause to bind him over for first-degree murder count in the death of the son after he thought about it. So no charges in the death of his brother. The cops are calling it an accident.
An accident.
Okay. I don't like illogical things. So is it an accident, or is what Paul is saying true?
Yeah.
Or did one of the Larrys shoot Bert in the combat? And so that's what happened, because they don't think Paul killed his brother on purpose. And if they say the Larrys did it, then it's actually looks like self-defense that the brother or brother defense that he's helping his brother. So accident is the only thing that the prosecution can say that doesn't either back up his story or directly contradict yours.
Yeah.
But accident's the least likely. I can't imagine a scenario where that's an accident.
In a scenario where both of those both the Larrys are murdered premeditated, whichever way.
Yeah.
In the event that your brother dies too, whether accident or not, you get charged with that body also.
Usually, yes. That's the thing. Because this is the prosecution. The prosecution's theory of the case is that the Fish brothers went over there to rob the Larrys of drugs and money.
Got it.
And it got out of control. So if they went over there for a home invasion robbery, even though Paul lived there, they went over there for a robbery to do this, then it would be in commission of that robbery, somebody's got killed. Yeah, that all goes on Paul. But here they're going, this makes it logically doesn't make sense to charge him for murder if it's an accident, because if it's they're saying that he was just standing off to the side and must have just got hit in the crossfire. Which
we're being magnanimous and not charging you with that murder. That's what we are.
We're being real nice guys here. So, Paul maintains his innocence here, maintains the killings came out because the Robinsons had learned about his involvement with the sheriff. So they were going to, go after him, which is possible.
Yeah.
It's a small town. You could definitely learn that he brought an undercover officer over. He said they killed his brother and he shot back in self-defense. That's the story. So it goes to the jury with that's it. It's either you believe one side or you believe the other. And the jury does not believe Paul, and he is convicted guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder.
Okay.
Found guilty. The judge here, this judge is a character. He changes his mind. He could go, hold on a minute now. I know I sentenced you to the death penalty, but I'm going to say 5 years now. I just feel bad. I don't know what it is. I was grumpy again. I didn't have my coffee that morning. I was just, oof, boy, something
I
terrible.
like the hard work of the jury, but I'm gonna do some extra shit.
I'm gonna put some extra shit on it. Put a little mustard and mayo on top of that bad boy.
I'm having a real good day. I want to have some fun with this one.
It's a good time. He says, you, sir, may fuck off 2 consecutive terms of 12 years. 12 years each term. So 24 years in prison.
Incredibly low.
Yeah, 24 years in prison is what he gets here. So he is sentenced then. Right away, he's denied bail pending appeal, which in a murder case, 2 counts of murder that you've been convicted and sentenced on, they usually don't let you out pending appeal. That's if you have like a white collar crime or something not dangerous. That's, no one's life is in danger.
Or in another country.
Yeah, or in another country. The court does grant a motion by the defense to delay sending Paul to the penitentiary until the defense can ask the Court of Appeals to set a bond, because the defense attorney indicated threats have already been made against Paul should he be sent to the penitentiary. Big Larry's doing some shit. Big Larry's got some he's got friends that'll stab you in jail because you killed him. He's not just, he's selling drugs. Big Larry, I feel like, Big Larry's in like a biker gang or something. Yeah. Not that he is, but I mean, like, that seems like the vibe I'm getting off of Big Larry here.
Somebody being called Big Anything is the rural guy name of being called Fat in an Italian mob.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Fat, don't fuck with Fat Tony. So that's what they're going to do. He ends up being sent to jail here, sent to prison, but in 1983, there's an appeal of the case claiming that the prosecution suppressed evidence that would have helped Fish and planted other evidence on him and went out of their way to damage his story because they were embarrassed by his involvement with the sheriff, which is logical. They said that they filed a motion to suppress 2 oral statements that he made. Okay. They said one of them got suppressed. Okay. They said, the second question here. Okay, yeah. In the ruling, the judge said the officers here neatly foreclosed the possibility of the defendant talking to an attorney by their answer to his question of his need for an attorney. The fact that the defendant did not demand an attorney does not convince this court that he was not exercising his right. Mm-hmm. So they were saying the evidence is in direct conflict. The trial court found that, or this court, the appeals court, found that Paul asked the interrogating officers whether he needed an attorney, and they assured him that they did not, citing several cases where cops did the same thing and it was overturned. And there's People versus Cerezo, People versus Trauber, People versus Richard, People versus Harris. There's a lot of different cases here. Also, the court found that it clearly appears that the defendant believed he was working for the sheriff. In light of the totality of the circumstances, including the working relationship between the investigating officers and the defendant's question was sufficient to put the officers on notice that the defendant intended to exercise his right to counsel and his right against self-incrimination. All questioning should have ceased until the defendant was given a reasonable opportunity to talk with his attorney. The record establishes that the defendant again asked the officers if he needed a lawyer after the interrogation concluded. At that time, they said he did. So they're saying, they definitely played with his emotions basically there. So the decision was that they end up saying that they should have suppressed the second one as well, the second statement, which means there has to be a retrial now. They overturn it. There's going to be a retrial, and they can't use any of his statements now.
Uh-oh.
So now it's a retrial with no statements.
Uh-huh.
So that's not good. So the state appeals the appeal.
Okay.
They request a decision from the court as to whether the statement may be used to impeach him if he takes the stand at trial. And the appeals court said we declined to do so. A question of whether the statement may be used for impeachment was not presented to the trial court in its decision. So they said you can't piggyback issues not encompassed by the rule to obtain pretrial appellate decisions on evidentiary issues, obviously. Jesus Christ. We're not stupid. We knew that. So they said the order of the district court suppressing the defendant's statement is affirmed. Fuck off. And from what I found, they never refiled charges.
What?
How can you? You don't have his statements. The whole thing's a fucking mess. It's all tainted.
They botched it.
They botched the shit out of it. They made him think he was still working there even while he's in the interrogation room. They did a terrible job. And then if you got this is even if you got into the whole when did you Mirandize him thing on top of that is like, Jesus Christ, they waited 2 hours after they found him to Mirandize him. That's insane. So the whole thing's a mess, and they never charge him.
No Larrys and no Bert.
No Larrys, no Bert, and
no Justice.
No Paul Stephen Fish. I found him. He's still in Colorado. He's in his 60s now, and Grand Junction, Colorado is what I found.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I looked at all of his addresses, though. Past 85, I didn't see any that were jail. They were all houses, apartments, and so he's
son of a bitch.
Never went to prison for it, it looks like, outside of the initial sentence. So there you go. There is a Small Town Murder Express, just a tale of holiday warmth, and that's what we like to give you here. Ho, ho, ho. Coming down
Watch
the chimney.
The fuck out.
Coming down the chimney with a shotgun and a .22 pistol, bitches. Let's do it.
They're in Colorado. It might not be Santa in the chimney.
It couldn't. Yeah, it might be Methy Santa. It's different. He's got patches in his beard. Patches taken out. So there you go.
Shit.
If you like that show, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app you're on and give us 5 stars. Say something nice. It's not for our egos, but it really does help drive the show up the charts. So it's a great way to help the show. And most of all, tell everyone you know, post on social media. Word of mouth is the best way to spread everything. Just like holiday Christmas cheer, baby. That's right. Spread it around. Do all of that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to live shows for 2023. February 10th is Cleveland. That's our first show of the season, of the year. Get those tickets. They're going very fast, so please jump on those. They make great gifts, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And also St. Louis the next night on February 11th is just about sold out, so get your asses in there if you want anything. Do that. That's then shutupandgivememurder.com, patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody $5 or above, you get the whole back catalog, over 150 episodes, new episodes every other week, one crime and sports, one small town murder. What do you have access to? Fucking all of it. That's right, goddammit. Get in there. This week, a very special one. It's only one because it's just Christmas and we're busy, but we're going to do worst comedy gigs we've ever been a part of and tell you all about how terrible they are and discuss our favorite and least favorite Christmas songs that have ever existed. Get that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Plus, you get a shout out at the end of the show. Follow us on social media at Smalltown Murder on Instagram, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, at Murder Small on Twitter. There it is. Follow us. Our shit's in the links on shutupandgivememurder.com. See you next time. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure. you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
It takes one guy out there to say, who's that Kyle who thinks he can just get on a microphone on a podcast and start publicizing this?
From iHeart Podcasts and Tenderfoot TV comes a new true crime podcast, Crook County.
I got recruited into the mob when I was 17 years old.
Meet Kenny, an enforcer for the legendary Chicago outfit.
And that was my mission, to snuff the life out of this guy.
He lived a secret double life as a firefighter paramedic for the Chicago Fire Department.
I had a wife and I had 2 children. Nobody knew anything.
People are dying. Is he doing this every night?
Torn between 2 worlds.
I'm covering up murders that these cops are doing.
He was a freaking crazy man.
We don't know who he is, really.
He is my father, and I had no idea about any of this until now. Welcome to Crook County. Available now. Listen for free on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.